The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there a listing of any sort of restrictive content that may appear in the game. However, I do know for a fact that it does include violence, bloodshed, explosions, fire, and the death of people and various animals. So, if I were to guess as to what its rating would be, I would say either teen or mature. So, that being said, viewer discretion is advised, and I recommend that anyone under the age of 13 not watch the following video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is of course my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Rimworld. So the premise of Rimworld, if you're playing it like a normal person, is that you're given a select group of procedurally, or I guess randomly generated, would be a better term because it is different every time, but randomly generated colonists which are sent to a far-flung, edge-of-known space world, known as the Rimworld, hence the name of the game. And once they land on this planet, or walk in from the edge of the map, because you can design the game to do that, you are tasked with building them a colony. So you need to provide them places to sleep, means of food and other resource harvesting, also various defensive structures, because good cross-section of the local population doesn't actually like your faction, and wishes to either kill, eat, or enslave them. Probably not in that order. But your task is to do all of this, all underneath the oversight of an AI Storyteller, which is, I don't want to say hell-bent, because that would imply a level of intelligence I don't think they programmed into this game, but basically hell-bent on, well, killing off all of your colonists. And the storyteller will think of more ingenious and creative ways to do this the longer and longer that you play. Yes, as I said, that is how most people will probably play this game. To add further interesting, possibly difficulties / extra headaches into this playthrough, I've been role-playing my colonists as a team of highly advanced and highly equipped and armored space marines who are actually sent to the planet to fight the pirate faction that resides here. So if you haven't seen any of the prior videos, over the course of this playthrough I've had my colonists drop onto the surface of this Rimworld, gather up all their supplies, hit a pirate base, take it over, move on to another nearby pirate base, take that over, basically strip it down for parts, because that's how I've been playing this game. And when push came to shove and the Ai Storyteller really wanted my people dead, I was planning on moving anyway, but the toxic plume kind of helped things along, and once it stopped I figured to keep constructing the new base, which I'm currently in the middle of, as you will shortly see. But as such, this game is of course made by Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
Okay, so here we are at FOB Chestling, I believe. I couldn't think of a name for this actual settlement, so I just went with the standard random name generator. But it is currently in the middle of winter, the 7th of August, I believe. That's how it's pronounced. I'm horrible with pronouncing things, but there's snow on the ground, which makes it winter because we aren't that far south for this to be happening in the summer. But that does mean that pretty much all of my plants are dead, except the heel root, because apparently nothing kills heel root anymore. Although it is middle of the night, so nothing is growing. But since I only have 67 meals and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people here, I'm probably going to have to go, well, hunting everything that moves. Probably including these bison. And these muffalo. And various other animals. But as I said, I was in the middle of building this base. So I finished the animal pen, shed, what have you. Last episode, this is it right here. The episode before that, I finished the supply shed. Well, mostly. It's only partially lit. It doesn't need no heater here, or AC unit. But then again, all I'm storing here is various types of leather, wood, cloth, and other materials, as well as some mechanoid carcasses, which I haven't been able to take apart yet because I don't have the tech to do so. But none of that requires special temperatures, so I don't bother with that. There's also the fridge, the kitchen, and currently sleeping area, which will eventually be the dining hall. Once I build the barracks, forgot the name, which is this area right here. This will be the med lab. Currently, I'm working on the greenhouse area, which is this oddly shaped building right here. And it is oddly shaped because eventually I shall be putting sun lamps in here. And this weird looking circle-like thing is the perfect shape for a sun lamp. But sun lamps require a ridiculously large amount of power, which is why I'm going with a large number of solar generators. This probably is not enough, but oh well. There's also going to be a crafting hall, armory, prison if we ever get any more new recruits, and rec room, as well as a very large defensive perimeter because I can never build anything small. But that is all in the future, and this is, as I said, the new base. The old base is here, FOB Antioch. This was my first pirate stronghold that I hit. I took it over, and I've been using it as essentially a home ever since. If we go to the world view real quick, and by real quick I mean after editing because it has to generate it first. So here we are. That didn't take long. So this is FOB Antioch. This was where pirate base was. This is where we inserted into the planet. This was another pirate base which I attacked, took out the pirates there, took it over, and then leveled the place systematically. This is FOB Chestling. Now, I don't plan on staying at Chestling for, well, until the storyteller can kill everybody. I just realized this is called Rabbit Cheek Sea. I don't know if it was always called that or the game just changed the name between here and then. But as I was saying, I don't plan on staying at FOB Chestling. Much like Antioch, Chestling is also a temporary facility. I don't plan on really staying anywhere because if we go to quests and look at active, the game generating quest Ship to the Stars, I'm role-playing as my team's exit strategy, or exfil as I believe the official military term is, where a friendly AI from your past named, well, I don't think it really matters what the name is, but Charlton Whitestone? Yeah, that's Whitestone. It sent you a message. It revealed Starship hidden on the planet and sends you its 4 coordinates. So, Starship is in deep hibernation mode. I have to start it back up again when I arrive. Then defend it from raiders trying to steal it. Until the startup sequence completes, it will be a long, difficult series of battles. And if I can get the ship off the ground, the AI will take my team off the Rimworld to the stars. And so, as I said, this is the end goal of the game, at least for how I'm role-playing it this time. Usually it's just survive until, again, AI kills you, or you can build your own starship if you so wish, and if this series takes forever and a day and I don't make much progress, I may just do that.
But if we go to where the actual ship is, it's all the way over here. And for reference, this is where the ship is. This is where my people are. So if we set a route planner to FOB Chestling, and as I said, every episode it always changes the route, mainly because it's always a different season, but usually it has me go down this way and then back up and around here. This time around it looks like it's going to take 49.7 days if I leave right now, and I'm not leaving right now because I don't have the supplies to leave right now, but it looks like it's actually taking me this direction. So we're going up over here. Why it's taking me along the coast and not, say, along this road, I have absolutely no idea. But it's taking me up here, skirting the Hesan Range. Well, between the Hesan Range and the Premier Mountains. I will admit, they programmed this game to come up with some interesting names for locations. But then we hit this road, and then we traveled down this road and up and along and up and along and up and along. And the plan was, once I had the need to move from Chestling, once it was developed and I had enough supplies to do so, and I had taken out every pirate stronghold in the immediate vicinity, to follow the route planner and then just basically leapfrog base to base to base to base, slowly making my way to the exfiltration ship. It's been a long road getting from here to there. Yes, that is a pop culture reference. It's also a song title, I believe. It was the first line to the opening sequence to Star Trek Enterprise, in case anybody doesn't really know. But anyway, it's been a long road. I think this is, what, episode 15, 16, and I started here. Well, I started here, and I basically moved here. That's all my progress so far. Of course, it didn't help. I didn't really know what I was getting into at the very beginning, and didn't really send them with all that much in the way of supplies, tech, and resources to make this a relatively quick process. So, in addition to the crossing half the entire world to leave the world rule, I also have other rules that aren't really technically part of the game, but for role-playing purposes, I'm trying to adhere to. And one of those is that if we look at factions, if you remember which button is factions, there are various factions on the map, and the Black Sinners is the pirate band, which I am on the plan to hunt down and try to eliminate as much as possible. So they are my target. I am hunting them. The Kanto Alliance and the Grey Goose Boko and the Cotelador Kin League also don't like me for reasons not fully shared with me. But I am at war while I'm technically at war with them and will freely defend myself against them, I can't actually initiate any conflicts unless I absolutely have to. Actually, no, I don't think that's the rule for these guys. I can initiate conflicts, but they're basically, if they're in the way, knock them down, but don't actively seek their bases to annihilate and destroy them. The Camalosi Pact, the Lehane Federation, the Refugee Empire, by contrast, are neutral and /or friendly factions. The rule is, I can't go to war with them at all. So if there's a quest that says, oh, please help me, I will give you your greatest wish, all you need to do is fight off a band of Refugee Empire people, which would in turn have me go to war against the Refugee Empire. I can't accept that because the rules from the overarching government of my military squad, which for role-playing purposes, the government is called the Commonwealth, and the squad is called the 789th Mechanized Infantry Combat Team, just for reference because I keep forgetting to mention that. So I can't actually accept said quest because it would put me at odds with a friendly faction. Also, if you know anything about Rimworld and the royalty expansion at all, if you do in fact work for the Refugee Empire, you could work for what's known as royal favor, which means one of your people gets imperial rank, well, points towards increasing said imperial rank, and even psionic abilities, which they can install on their heads and then use. Because I'm role-playing that my people are working for the aforementioned Commonwealth. Yes, I know, not exactly the most original name, but there it is. They can't actually accept royal favors, so while I can take jobs for the refugee empire, I can't actually do it for royal favor. So it's basically profit, goodwill, or nothing. Also, if I hit a pirate base, or just anything in general, and I actually take said base, or said anything in general, I can't technically leave anything behind. I mean, I have left things behind, basically the shells of broken and buildings, but now things like solar panels, like I can't leave that stuff behind, so I either have to pack it up and take it with me, take it apart, or burn it down. So those are the rules as far as memory serves. I'm sure there's a couple extra rules and other things that I'm forgetting, but for right now, that's all the rules that I know of that I imparted to make this even more difficult, because this game by itself isn't enough of a pain of the ass. What? It is. And I'll admit, there have been, as much as I like this game, there are times when it's just ticked me off, because everything is randomly generated, and, you know, I've tried to do something and the game decides, nope, I'm going to have one of your people try to eat everybody else, even though there's plenty of food available. But speaking of food, let us go hunting. So the deer are the first choice, as is this ram. I should probably hunt the timber wolf and red fox, but I want to do that as a group, because if I take out all of the food for the timber wolves and the foxes, they're going to start going after my people, and my massive supply of, I would say my massive supply of animals, but I just remembered I ran out of feed for them down here and they started starving, so end of last episode I moved them all back to Antioch. Because winter set in and I was not prepared. Of course, I'm never prepared. It's part of the reason why this game is fun. Also annoying. But I digress. So, I'll probably eventually have to start hunting these things down, but for now, if I flag it for hunting, one person with a large rifle is just going to go off and shoot it, and then it'll get angry and try to attack my people. And probably win, because the game is like that. How many muffalo do I have? I have a lot of animals. Oh, that's kind of weird. It's saying I only have 2 muffalo, and I originally only had 2 muffalo, but both of those muffalo were men, and now one's male and the other's female, because that makes perfect sense. Alright, so I'm guessing something happened to one of my muffalo, and I just don't remember what. Oh well. Assuming those were my 2 original muffalo. But anyway, since I believe I have a breeding pair of muffalo, let's kill off all the male muffalo and try to tame the female one. The bison and the megasloth I'll leave alone, just simply because... the bison I feel have a tendency to be, get angry and pack a punch, and I've seen a megasloth actually kill somebody. Don't believe it was this playthrough, but I've seen it happen. So, with that note, let us continue. So, middle of the night, end of last episode, Mechanoids decided to attack here, and stuff got blown up. Blue has gotten food poisoning. Okay. It's yaks that I have, not bison. So I could have sworn I thought I had had bison, but no, it's yaks. Alright, so Chief is fully, not Chief, Hercules is fully healed. And so he's decided to play horseshoes in freezing cold temperatures, because that's the only entertainment thing I have available right now. Because I'm weird like that. And they've started to hunt things. Also, Jet is cutting this oak tree. I'm assuming to... Yeah, he's going to try to build the solar generators. Although I don't think I actually have the components for these. Lincoln suffering from major break risk. The guys at Antioch seem fine. But they're just going to town. Helpful when I have everybody, pretty much everybody flagged as a hunter. And I would have everybody flagged as a hunter. Well, everybody is flagged as a hunter. That's why it says hunter lacks ranged weapon. It's just I have somehow 2 people lost their weapons. Yeah, Chief doesn't actually have a firearm. So now we have meat. I would like to point out that the inside of the fridge is actually warmer than outside, but that's no longer the case. And this fire ran out of wood. And a group of travelers from Lehane Federation are passing by. Okay, cool. Doesn't say that they had anything to trade. What is... Oh, look, a guinea pig. Speaking of food, what are you guys doing for food? Oh, you're completely empty on food. Okay then, so it looks like Chesling isn't the only place that's going to have to go hunting. I got plenty of alpaca. But there aren't nearly as many animals here. Alright, so there's also a warg and a lynx here. So I'm definitely, the warg and a grizzly bear. So I'm definitely going to have to take care of these sooner rather than later. In fact, I'm going to assume once everybody is up and running, I'm just going to have everybody just be a hit team and take out all of the... Why is there an alpaca sleeping in the... Who knows? There was an alpaca sleeping in one of the personnel rooms, but oh well. And of course the dogs start eating the carcass. Of course, nothing is actually set to anywhere, so these are the pets. Yeah. And then, starting from the donkey down. Everybody else gets set to animal. That's weird. Almost that I have 1 Muffalo now. What happened to Muffalo 2 or Muffalo 4? I don't think it got eaten. It usually says a big warning if it got eaten. Now that is weird. Of course, the sheep and the squirrel are starving, even though there's plenty of food all over this place. Alright, so pretty much everybody's awake, so everybody wake up and go over here. The timber wolf is hunting Ophelia. Okay then. This is what I expected, just on the wrong map. So everybody go over here and make it not alive. And I keep forgetting Minoka does not actually have a firearm, so she decided to punch the thing to death while everybody else was shooting it. Okay, she's also going to be dead. Oh, somebody shot her right index finger off and shot her in the torso and stomach. Okay. Now, you don't get to play horseshoes. You get to tend to the injured person. That's what happens when you're the doctor. Anyway, you guys
The warg's probably, even though there's a bear here, the warg is probably going to be the more dangerous threat. So, everybody but Chief, because he's the other person who doesn't have a firearm. I should probably give him one. But everybody other than Chief goes over here. And shoots that. Alright, so it's injured, so it goes back to hunting. And while we're here, shoot the lynx. I said shoot the lynx. Alright, where's that grizzly bear? Oh, U5 is giving birth. Alright, cool as bears are, he's in the way, so kill it. And, everybody goes about their business. I guess they did have components. Of course, I did flag several areas for that had compacted machinery to be mined, so that may be where they got the components from. And Sky's apparently on an insulting spree because she has a poor mood because she's in a hideous environment, which is understandable. I mean, it's basically everybody's living in the same dirt-stained, blood-stained, puke-stained, dirt-floored stained room. Everybody's cooking in the puke-stained, blood-stained, dirt-stained kitchen, and all the food and pre-food is kept in a dirt-stained, blood-stained, puke-stained, dirt-floored freezer. Forgot what it was called. So yeah, that's perfectly understandable. Chestling stinks for now. It'll get better, and once it gets better, I will move on. Oh, goody, cargo pods. It's just some cloth. Free stuff, won't complain. Moving right along. Somebody just straight up ate a raw guinea pig. Okay then. That seems a bit excessive, but okay. So what is this animal? But that's just a tree. Also, if we look at power, yeah, only one solar panel is actually connected to the grid. The others won't be connected until, well, technically all they need to do is finish this one, and all the others will be connected. I mean, if they finish this one won't be connected. If they finish this one, only this one will be connected. And this one won't connect any of the others to, well, the grid. Of course, I could, in theory, just build a power line straight to it, and I probably should, but for right now, I'm not. So Sky is no longer insulting people, and another ewe is pregnant. I should probably technically start eating the sheep, but, now I grow close to my animals, to an extent. And Sky is confused because she's suffering from dementia, which is not a good thing in the middle of winter, or, well, in general. And the Kanto Alliance has started a raid. Where? Well,
Use sappers to tunnel around the defenses. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. The defenses are actually inside the baseline. So everybody but Chief, and I really need to give him a weapon, comes over here. Also, all the animals... Okay, so that's what Area 1 is. All the animals in the safe zone. I always have a special area that isn't in, well, is rather restricted. Basically, it's usually their sleeping area or the supply shed, where I can keep all the animals in without having them worrying about running around. Okay, so that's why Muffalo 4 is no longer a part of the list. He went wild. Alright, so these guys are over here, and they are charging like it's nobody's business. So everybody over here. Oh, and the Royal Tribute Collector is here. They'll accept any prisoners and gold. And expect the tribute collector to arrive twice a year. And the one who gives the tribute over receives honor for fulfilling the tradition of supporting the upper houses. Again, don't work for the Empire. Don't much care to work for the Empire, but so yeah, the answer will be no. But I should also point out, right now I have neither prisoners nor gold, so moot point. Anyway, you go here. You go here. You go here. Go here. Where? Oh. They cut through. One down. Two down. Everybody start moving. Three down, 4 down, 5 down, 6 down. Anybody else? They're just gonna up and flee? That smacks of fairness. Everybody is dead, right? They also killed one of my sheep. Why he wasn't in the safe area, I don't know, but I guess they charged fast enough that he wasn't able to get back in there. Alright, so they broke through 2 doors and the air vent. Oh, 1 door and 1 wall. They're also out of wood, so... chop wood. Specifically, this wood. And this wood. Alright. Club and a knife. Steel Ikawa, another steel Ikawa. 2 more knives. What, 4, 6 people dead? Okay. Only reason why I ask is because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish the other line for the graveyard. And yes, this is a whole pile of people who foolishly thought that they could take this settlement. Is there a bunch of marble? I guess they were holding the marble blocks out. So, now that the threat has subsided, all the animals can leave. I am tempted to remove all the clothing off of the dead raiders, but if I do that, they'll just simply end up being tainted, and I couldn't use them anyway, so it's a moot point. Alright, so who has the highest healing capabilities? Oh, you're already tending to the ramp. Okay. So its nose and its right left hoof have been shattered. But I think it can still move. It still has its leg, and a dog rescues it. Okay, cool. And a boom rat has gone mad, because that's how this game works. Okay, where'd the boom rat go? Feel free to kill her. If you'd be so kind. Without shooting the Imperial guys. Alright, well, that kind of worked. Anyway. How badly injured is he? And the answer is not all that much. He'll live. One problem with hunting boom rats or boomalopes is they die, they explode, which is why I generally try to avoid doing that unless it's raining. But there's still food, they're still edible. So there's that. Meantime, they actually managed to finish all but one solar generator. Okay then. In that case, next thing I want them to do is to build these sections of the greenhouse. Well, the answer for that is simple. Largely just down to personal preference. I like building the greenhouse in stages. I guess in part because the roof that encloses, well, pretty much any building, can only extend a certain point from a wall. So if I just built the outside, it would probably try to roof the outside, and then the inside wouldn't get roofed, or stuff would happen and would fall down. So I usually like building the internal supports first, and once those are constructed, I go with the outer supports, and then once those are constructed, the outer edges. And once the entire facility is constructed, like, well, the walls are constructed, that's when the heaters and sun lamps go in. It's also when I power everything. And usually I just simply build out of stone because, well, stone just simply lasts longer. However, because as I said, all these bases are going to be temporary, just somebody haul all of these things. And Minoka has just decided to give up. So Minoka has given up on this community. She's decided to leave and pursue a better life elsewhere. We can try to arrest her as she leaves. Otherwise, we may see her again someday. It's happened because of poor mood and final straw was being insulted. So where is Minoka? Minoka's all the way up here. She does not get to leave. Of course, she's probably just going to up and run, and she's further close to the edge of the map than everybody else. Alright, no prisoner bed in safe temperature. So you know what? Sleeping spot here. It's now for prisoners. You know what? Deconstruct that because it's kind of in the way. Sleeping spot here. It's now for prisoners, which means the kitchen is now also doubles as a prison. Be so kind as to arrest her. Be so kind as to... Who got 100% on that? Be so kind as to arrest her. You come with the rest of us. An exotic goods trader is now here. Now somewhere. Okay, so they're coming in. Alright, so one thing I want to try is, I have sometimes noticed that if you try to arrest one of your villagers who's misbehaving, if before they get to the prison bed and become a prisoner, if you undraft the person arresting them, they sometimes go about their business normally. And that is not the case. So, you are now a prisoner, and, we reduce resistance until, well, it's 0, and then we recruit them. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process, and until then, I lose one of my cooks and the farmer. All because the game said, this is how we're doing things. Oh yeah, is that a goods trader? Who's the highest social here? You'd think I'd remember, but then again, I am dealing with what, 15 people? Spanning 2 different maps? Of course, it'd be helpful if I was actually looking at the social stat. So it looks like the person with the highest social is technically tied with Hercules and Tater, but Hercules has a burning desire to be sociable. So let's have him talk with the exotic goods trader and see what they have to sell. They are selling 2 female chinchillas, 1 male donkey, a bunch of components, several advanced components. I would say a bunch of hyperweave, but that's actually my pile. Some Glitterworld medicine, a whole bunch of plasteel, and various other things. However, while I have supplied Chestling with a ridiculously large amount of my resources from Antioch, the one thing I've neglected to have given them is silver, so they don't actually have any money to buy anything. Well, that's counterproductive to the grand scheme, and the only things I have to sell are a bunch of healer mech serums, which won't net me much, a whole bunch of plasteel, which I'm probably going to need to build advanced things for, advanced components, which I definitely need to build advanced things, and some small amount of hyperweave, which I'm probably not going to use all that much, but yeah, I can't buy all of the components. I can get 4. Well, 4 is better than none, so as far as I know, I can't make hyperweave. I'll say there's a trade caravan from the Refugee Empire, but that was the tribute collector. Okay. And Minoka is throwing a temper tantrum. She's smashing up random furniture, items, and structures because I wouldn't let her leave, and so now she's just throwing a little hissy fit. I guess it's a bad idea I had to imprison her in the kitchen. I'm just making sure she doesn't break anything important or escape. I'm assuming this side is the one with the low food. Start hunting all of these does and boars. These raccoons. Basically kill everything but the boom rat. Because it's not raining. Also, tame Muffalo 4 again if you can. Otherwise, I honestly don't know. I needed something it can eat in order to tame it, and I didn't have fresh out of crops. That's why dinner is basically any random animal that just happens to get shot at. If we look at prisoner, so if anybody hasn't really noticed before, or hasn't seen me deal with prisoners before, because they haven't seen any of the other episodes, basically, if somebody raids your faction, or in this case, somebody decides to just up and leave and you arrest them, or they throw a fight and you arrest them, or basically one of your colonists needs to be arrested for one reason or another, or a raider comes in and rather than getting shot dead, just gets shot injured, and rather than putting them out of their misery, you decide to collect them, they all become prisoners. And you can sell prisoners off to slave traders, you can use them as bartering for the royal tribute collector, or what I like to do is you basically stick them in prison and then you try to recruit them, which basically means that they become colonists themselves. And originally it was just basically you just recruit, and there was whoever had the highest social and who was set to work as a warden would constantly talk with the prisoner, mention life. They don't actually say what dialogue it was. Actually, it's not true. If you go to social, they can actually does actually give a list of the various interactions that have occurred. Wow, everybody is her rival. No wonder why she wanted to leave, but she still can't because that's how I roll. But anyway, as I was saying, and basically the wardens keep talking to the prisoners, Eventually, once the random number generator decides, okay, that's good enough, then they become new colonists. And however, from near as I can tell, since the, I think, royalty expansion, there's also the resistance remaining, which I would assume affects the recruitment chance. So what I normally like doing is have the wardens reduce the resistance of the prisoner until it's pretty much zero. It just simply adds a long drawn out process, and then they recruit them. So eventually, Minoka will be a full-fledged upstanding citizen of this military outfit again, and until then, they're just basically going to talk to her while she hangs out in the kitchen. And Jed is bored. Well, you know what? There's not much I can do about that because the rec room isn't actually finished. So we have horseshoes and stargazing. Because after the greenhouse, my plan is the barracks, because one of the things that keeps getting them agitated is the fact that they're all sleeping on top of each other on a dirt-floored room filled with construction debris, blood, and puke. So yeah, my original plan was just to start on the barracks, but then I remembered greenhouse isn't finished yet. It's like a random bison in here. Interesting. Also a rat. Somebody shoot the rat. Oh wow, the battery's almost fully charged. And a bunch of people are now diseased. Oh yeah, new quest. So Komemo's Salvation. I'm not even going to pronounce this. I think this is just literally a random, I would say nonsense, but like 2 Y's, a V, and an E. The Prime Council of the Lehane Federation says that her friend has been wounded while traveling. The victim is Comeneros, 27-year-old house servant. The Prime Chancellor of the Lehane Federation has nobody to spare to rescue Comemos, but says that if you can make it to Comemos' position and rescue him, he will join you. He says that there may be an unknown threat there. So he's a servant, but we have absolutely no idea what his skills are. If we jump to location, it is actually rather far out. Huh. Alright, he's dead. Alright, so anyway, 4 of my colonists are sick with the plague. Jenny's the surgeon, Stanislav Marine, Mushinto the hunter, and Yuko the psychic. So basically the medic and 3 other people are suffering from plague. How much meds do I have? 51. So for anybody who doesn't know how sickness and plague and various things work, is that it's a it affects various attributes of your characters, and they start with almost no infection. And as you can see, plague minor at 0.77%, pain 20%, well, pain plus 20%, minus 5% consciousness, minus 5 manipulation, needs tending to now, and immunity 0%. So it basically becomes a race. So this little circle here means that you can treat the injury, which I may actually have her do, because again, she's the medic here. Yeah, she's the medic here. And once that's treated, well, if you left untreated, then the plague minor percentage increases, and once it gets to 100, the character dies. However, the only way to save them is to have immunity reach 100 before the plague or the disease does. And while immunity will slowly increase, the only way it gets increased significantly and the disease doesn't increase significantly is to keep tending it, which is what this little circle thingy is. So I'm having Jenny tend to herself because she's the doctor, so she technically gets tended to first. So plague is now at 2.9%, whereas immunity is at 2%. And I did not catch who else. Oh, goody, cargo pods. More kibble. More kibble. Kibble. So Stanislav has the plague, Mushinto has the plague, Bowman is fine, relatively speaking, as is Blue, as is Chief, and then Yoko also has the plague. So all these guys go to the med bay. And Jenny does not sleep because she needs to tend to the others. I said, tend to the others. So yeah, Mushinto's plague, since he was the last one treated, is already at 18%, as is his immunity. So now that he's been treated, his immunity should increase either faster at the same rate, whereas the plague should not increase as fast. By contrast, Stanislav's plague is at 16% and his immunity is at 13%. Yoko is 16 and 16, and Jenny, who first got treated, his immunity is at 16%, whereas her plague is at 15%. So hopefully they all survive. If not, I will become peeved. Because catching the plague, I mean, to be fair, it is rather cold inside. Really need to figure out a better thing, but still. Oh, and Ayak is pregnant. Goody. So they're out of wood. The power generator, the wood fuel generators are out. Luckily, the solar panels are producing enough power, because apparently they're not chopping down trees. Alright, so Jenny's plague is now at 31%, whereas her immunity is at 35. Mushinto's is at 29 and 37. Stanislav is at 31 and 26. And then Yoku is at 28 and 35. For some reason, Stanislav's plague isn't being... I guess he didn't get as good aid as the others. Alright, so in that case, Jenny gets to tend to him first. And colonist needs treatment. Well, once she's done tending Stanislav, she can tend to herself. So Jenny now tends to Mushinto. And then Yoko, and then she can feed them if she so wishes. A side note, they're going to have to hunt more animals again. Oh, more gazelle showed up. Well, gazelle showed up. Okay. Coons, some more hares, some more rats, some more squirrels. No new predators, so that's probably a good thing. Of course, something tells me that the cook is actually in bed sick with the plague. Meanwhile, the next phase of the greenhouse is done. So then we build the outer walls. Of course, I should probably also put in doors as well. Okay, so Jenny's plague is now at 50% and her immunity is at 57. Stanislav is at 47-42. And Shunto is at 44 and 62. And then Yoko is at 44 and 57. So out of all four of these, the only one I'm really worried about right now is Stanislav. And probably Jenny, because I'm working her ragged, trying to keep her and everybody else alive. Also, Minoka is down. Minoka now has a recruitment chance of 100%. So you know what? Even though she still has 27 resistance, let's actually recruit her. Just simply because I believe she's actually my farmer. Yeah, she's the farmer, and the greenhouse is almost complete. By almost, I mean they're on the last step for the outer structure. And then once that's done, I put in heaters, the sun lamps, wire everything, and once that's all done, get that dead squirrel out of there, it should warm up enough that replanting can begin, and then she starts her job. Hunt that raccoon. Alright, so in the meantime, her plague is at 60%. Jenny's plague is at 63% with her immunity at 76. Stanislav is at 59 and 56. Mushinto is at 58 and 80%, whereas Yoko is at 58 and 75. Alright, so the tending expires sometime at, well, looks like 3 or so hours after the
can be tended option ends, so there is a small window over the two. So I'm going to let Jenny tend to herself first, and then she tends Stanislav. Which she's doing now. Alright, so because of lack of taming, Stallion 2 has returned to the wild. Let's try to retame that one. Same with Muffalo 4, and there is now a grizzly bear. Also, a whole bunch of dead alpaca carcasses. Did I hunt a bunch of alpaca and they just not pick them up? They should have. Weird. Anyway. Yoko's gotten food poisoning. Alright, so, and as the plague increases its percentage, it goes from minor to major to extreme. Or I think minor to moderate to extreme, and then death. I just missed the moderate. And the pain and consciousness and all that fun stuff increases. So technically, Jenny, even though she's trying to keep everybody else alive, is only doing it with 80% of her consciousness and 80% of her ability to manipulate. However, she is at 88% immunity, whereas with her plague at 71. Mashunto is at 91% immunity with his plague at 66%. And Yoko is at 66% plague with 87% immunity. And Stanislav is still at 66 and 64. So I'm wondering if technically I can leave Mashunto untended and he'll hit 100% immunity before the plague hits. Well, and so he should end up being fine, especially considering I am now technically out of meals. And a yak is pregnant. And Jenny's just eating raw meat. Because why not? Who do I have hunting? So Stanislav is the only one flagged as a primary hunter. That would explain why I'm not getting extra meat. Right, so I'll flag, of course I'll flag the other guy who also has plague. Right, and Mashunto is now immune to the plague. So he's fine. He's going about his business. Yoko still needs to be tended to. Jenny is playing horseshoes. Tend to Yoko. Because while she's close to being fine, she's not out of the woods just yet. A combat supplier has arrived. Oh, it's a trade ship. Okay. Alright, and Yoko has developed immunity to the plague. As has Jenny for that point. So the only one who's still a worry is Stanislav. And he is now at 75 plague and 75 immunity. 76 plague and 75 immunity. 77 and 76. 77, 77, 77, 78. On the plus side, the greenhouse is now done. Well, everything except the roof. Or are they roofing the thing? They're supposed to roof the thing. Why isn't it being roofed? Well, fine then. Roof the greenhouse. Huh. That's probably why they haven't roofed it yet. They technically haven't finished the structure. No, that's the remove roof area. Wrong tool. Oh, and Chief has proposed to Blue, and they agreed to be married.
and she agreed to be engaged, so they're going to get married. And now Yoko has a major break risk. Because why not? So now, are they going to be roofing this thing? I don't actually know. Speaking of the other side, Stanislav. He's now at Plague Extreme, and his immunity is the exact same as his Plague level. Slightly higher. Why do I have a feeling he's going to die? Well, maybe not, but it will definitely be close. Where's Jenny? I am not taking any chances. Prioritize tending to Stanislav. And a group of alpacas, abandoned or lost, have decided to join. Right, I have absolutely no idea where they are now. I would assume they'd be any alpacas that aren't listed as being part of the animal section. Where are my alpacas? Okay, so there were two of them. 42 and 43. Okay then. And there's also animal starvation, because apparently a sheep couldn't eat any of the grass that's out here. They're over here because here has grass. There's a medical emergency. I'm guessing it's Stanislav, because the game really just wants one of my people to die. So it's 95 immunity to 95 plague. They're out of power here. Luckily, the medical bay doesn't actually need power to keep people alive. And he died because the game said so, and that ticks me off. Alright, so where... Resurrected mech serums. You. Use this on him because the game is a whiny little brat. Everybody else survived the plague. He was being treated. Practically had full immunity. But no, the game said you die anyway. And that ticks me off. Yeah, and because he died, his entire work schedule was gone. We have so many healer mech serums. Alright, so this is still technically considered outdoors. Okay, fine. Get this entire thing roofed. Alright, because of the lack of taming, an alpaca is returned to the wild. Okay then. Alright, now planting has started, and now that everything is enclosed and it's actually warm, well, I would say it's warm.
but it's technically colder inside than out. But now that that's done, sun lamps everywhere. Of course, that does take up one spot in the middle of the growing field. Alright, so it's been a while since I've actually had to wire one of these places up, but I guess that works about as well as anything else. Of course, one thing I forgot to do is connect it to the actual power grid. Well, I guess once all the structures are actually finished and built inside, then I'll connect it to the power grid. Like as soon as they roofed the thing, grass has started to grow. Of course, it's also above freezing, so the snow melted. Oh, and the trade caravan is leaving, because I completely forgot about them. I say, he's still married, Stanislav is still married, even though he technically died, right? Apparently he had a stepdaughter who died. Yoga had a daughter who died. Yeah, the game just likes spawning random relationships with random non-faction NPCs. Usually they're part of the raiders. And usually it generates them as that relationship shows up to fight the colony. And apparently there's no mercy in terms of love and war, so no, they decide to fight, and my people end up killing them. Okay, so they are actually having to chop up the plants in order to build power lines. Of course, they can actually regrow them once the power lines are done, so... I could have sworn they could just simply put the plants on the power lines. But it's a case that they can't have the plant there while it's being built. But afterwards is fine. Okay. Okay, what's actually growing over here? Cotton. So why is a muffalo wandering around in here? Oh, because of lack of taming maintenance, a boom rat has left the colony. Okay, fine. Fine with animals leaving, it's just the people that I don't want to leave. On the plus side, well, her recruitment chance is now 55%, so let's keep reducing her resistance, and her resistance is now 19.8. And rare thrumbos have shown up. Also, that arms trader spaceship, I'm assuming has left already? Yeah. Gone a long time ago, probably. I was busy dealing with the plague, so I didn't notice. Alright, so this entire power grid is now finished, so now we connect it to the actual power grid. Through multiple connection points. Probably don't need this line. Probably also don't need to disconnect it one thing at a time, but we'll connect it here just in case this line explodes.
and everything suddenly turns on. And back off, because these sun lamps only work at certain times of the day, and by day I mean when the sun is up. So that way the solar panels that I have should cause enough power to charge the sun lamps. And since since night just fell, the sun lamps immediately turned on and then turned back off. Whereas the heaters have a target temperature of 70 degrees, and they stay on constantly. So they should hopefully keep this whole area warm. I mean, it is slow going. Temperature just increased to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. But it should be warm enough. If not, I can always just reassemble one of these walls and put in heaters over here, I guess. I probably should, because they're having difficulty keeping it above 50. And see, now that dawn has approached, the sun lamps have turned on. And they're actually drawing more power than the generators can generate, but they're still coming on in full power, and they're now at full power, and I'm still losing power. Well, the sun lamps are still using more power than the solar panels can generate, so we're going to need to build more. Or build alternate forms of power. 3, 4, 5. I don't have a door right there, so we should be good. Of course, I don't think the fact that there's ones in the shade of the building is causing it a problem, so it should be fine. Only problem is I don't have any extra components. And as far as I know, they mined out most of the components here. They did not mine all these components, however. This is like solid steel, isn't it? Yeah, indoors is currently at 44 degrees. 2 heaters can't keep all of this powered. No, all of this warm. But now it's 3 heaters. And Minoka's throwing another temper tantrum. I think she broke the lamp. And she's done. Okay. Thankfully, I have enough battery power stored that I can cover a small deficit from the sun lamps until the new solar panels get built. Of course, the question becomes, did I manage to mine enough? Why is there more plague? Bowman now has caught the plague. Bowman is not hunting a rat. Stanislav has apparently puked all over the place. So we're going to equip that. And Jenny is going to tend to Bowman. And it better be successful, because if there's going to be another 99% immunity to 100% plague, I will become displeased. On the plus side, spring has begun and a whole bunch of sheep have given birth. As well as somebody else, but I did not catch the name. And a war merchant from the Camelusi Pact has arrived. One of these days I will remember who does what. So what do you have? You have a bunch of boom rats and some panthers. Some herbal medicine. A whole bunch of wooden clubs. I could apparently sell them a sniper rifle. Where did I pick up a sniper rifle? How come somebody isn't wielding it? Weird. Anyway. Again, don't have any money, and technically, he doesn't really have anything I want. Alright, so I know that said that they mine... Okay, so they didn't technically mine these areas out yet. It's uranium ore right there. Huh. We don't have a mod to turn anything nuclear, so it's kind of like, what's the point? Although with the sun down, the thermal generator is enough to actually slightly charge the batteries. Of course, with the Sunlands on, that's an entirely different scenario. And a Manhunter pack of turkeys has shown up. 11 turkeys have shown up to try to kill my people. Because that makes perfect sense. Everybody hang here. Because, oh yes, we can hide from the Manhunter pack of vicious turkeys. Or I can let the merchant guards kill them all. Or I can hide on, get on the other side of this puddle. And just start shooting all the turkeys. Is that all of them? I'm guessing that's all of them. However, the caravan guards do seem to have been injured. I mean, he'll eventually recover. That's a turkey. That's a turkey. He'll be dead in 13 hours. So... I mean, I'm not using the animal pen. Can I... rescue him? I mean, I could capture, but he is technically a friend, and I don't know how that would... what that would cause a relationship with the faction. So for right now, since he technically did my people a solid... Oh, he's dead. Wait, I thought he was fine. When did he die? And more importantly, why are they putting him in the stockpile zone? No corpses. Corpses do not go here. This is where the feed grain for the non-pets are supposed to go. So there's what, 2 people dead? Where is... No, I don't think I actually started a graveyard here yet. Huh. Or as I said, they did me a solid, so the least I can do is not leave them sitting in the middle of a doorway. And he's also dead. And this turkey is still injured, so I wonder if the thing that I thought was injured, that I thought was the person, was in fact the turkey. So could not save 3 of their people. And Labrador Retriever 4 has miscarried due to starvation. Because why are they starving? Fine. I don't think they're going to end up being the so I don't think they're going to end up like being the Yorkshire Terrier Rockies, where they just literally constantly eat me out of house and home. But if I keep it up, they probably will, so... This doesn't help. Kibble requires both meat and plants, and I don't have plants here. Oh, so they finally finished researching the multi-analyzer. Speaking of that, how is Blue's plague, Bowman's plague going? She's at 56 immunity for 36 plague. Okay, and in that regard, so the multi-analyzer is basically, for those who don't know, research is done in various stages. So you have your basic stuff right here, which is basically sharpened sticks and rocks tied to sticks and the equivalent of such. Maybe not that primitive. I mean, it's recurved bows, passive coolers, mushrooms that can be turned into clothing, stone cutting, all that fun stuff. Then on the opposite side, you have starship components. And everything from, say, where is it? Here down can be researched with the standard research bench. From microelectronics to multi-analyzer, you need the advanced research bench. From multi-analyzer and beyond, you need the advanced research bench and a multi-analyzer build. You know what? Let's go with deep drilling next. You know what? Let's go with, what do I want next? Let's actually go with hospital beds next. So, hopefully they'll get that done. Hospital beds are basically like standard beds, it's just they allow for better healing. Alright, so we have a new quest, the Extensive Construction, where a mysterious message has arrived. It seems it was transmitted by a machine persona that refuses to name itself. Another one of these monument things. Message has to build a very specific monument. Monument is a 13 by 30 in size and requires these resources listed here. Construction must be completed in 38 days of accepting the task. Upon completion, you have to protect the monument for 57 days. Any piece is destroyed, the Archotech's enforcement system will activate. A cloud of toxic fallout will blanket the area around FOB chest link for 14 days, killing outdoor plant and animal life. You will receive the rewards when you finish construction: a tech print for healing factors, a tech print for molecular analysis, a tech print for cataphract armor, as well as 906 gold, or 27 advanced components and 1,275 uranium, or 21 units of the Devil's Drug, an orbital power beam targeter, and a prestige marine helmet, which is masterwork, and 857 plasteel. So the tech prints are interesting. Let's actually go to research real quick. So some of the research requirements, like jump packs and brain wiring and the like, require what's known as a tech print, which is basically this extra little thing that you need to apply to the research in order to actually be able to research it. So I don't have molecular analysis. I need one more for cataphract armor, and don't have one for healing factors. So I have 2 days to decide if I actually want to build this, and I am tempted to do so just simply because of the tech prints. Of course, it doesn't say that if I don't complete it within 38 days, the auto thingy will blanket the area with toxic fallout for 2 weeks. And technically, if I can keep everything inside, the greenhouse is technically done, so these plants should be fine even if I do get hit. Although the animals, which aren't actually here right now, wouldn't be affected because they're still at Antioch. Any problem would be if people had to wander outside. I mean, Sky got hit with dementia because of the toxic fallout at Antioch. This was before I had actually decided to start building here at Chesling. So the greenhouse, however, is complete, so even if I do get hit with toxic fallout, this area should be fine. My next plan is to build the barracks, because everybody's complaining about having to sleep on top of each other. Hopefully Minoka will stop being a prisoner and will rejoin society as she should have been. A lot of hopefuls. Still going to need to decide if I'm actually going to do this quest, because it looks like it does require a large amount of resources, which, I mean, I guess I can build it all out of steel. Although something tells me things will start trying to attack it. So I have a lot of issues and other things to consider, but all of those issues and considerations are going to be issues for another day, because I'm going to call it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague, because you definitely do not want to end up like Stanislav, because in real life, there is no bring people back from the dead serum. At least I don't think there is. But anyway, everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.